Welcome to Church History 1, the early church. We will begin in this course where we should begin, with Jesus and the era in which Jesus ministered during his 33 years on this earth, the Roman Empire. Much, much different than today, of course, as you already know, but crucial for helping us understand many of the things Jesus taught in the New Testament. Much of our theology that we have received from him and the Apostle Paul and the other writers of sacred scripture. I think church history, obviously, being a church history professor, I'm going to do an advertisement for church history because I believe it is the most important courses you can take. Because it helps us to understand the past so we can minister better in the present and have a hopefully, presumably healthier future. As we see the great things figures in church history did, as we learn from their mistakes, and of course there's lots of both, there's lots of heresy, lots of orthodoxy. At its most fundamental level, you're going to see in the first lecture, or I'm going to argue in the first lecture, and I hope you see it, that church history is a battle for the Bible. So you are in ministry, or you're getting degrees in ministry, so you can proclaim at the most fundamental level, I'm assuming, the Bible to somebody. And church history is nothing more than a battle for the Bible over the past 2,000 years. And so you're going to meet many famous and infamous people who shaped the early church, who came along after the time of Paul and Jesus, men like Athanasius, who went to war over the doctrine of the Trinity, who helped us understand why orthodoxy is so important, who helped us understand why a Greek diphthong, and we'll get to this later, why a Greek diphthong is the difference between heaven and hell. Two letters in the middle of a Greek word is the difference between Orthodox Christianity and heresy. And we'll see a lot of that as we see the church develop its understanding of the person of Christ, who he was, that he was in fact fully God and fully man. And this wasn't established without a war over what the words of the New Testament meant. And so we're going to have a lot of conflict, but conflict was a good thing because orthodoxy was hammered out on the anvil of conflict. You will meet famous men like Augustine of Hippo, the Bishop of Hippo. You'll hear his testimony about what a profligate, ungodly lifestyle he lived in his early years, his young years, then came to Christ. He got a praying mother who chased him all over North Africa, a praying mother named Monica, who wouldn't let go of God until he saved her son, and he used him to be one of the greatest men in the history of the church. We'll see the rise of the papacy and Roman Catholicism, the rise of Muhammad and Islam and the Crusades, and all the way up to the early years of what we might call the pre-Reformation, the proto-reformers, who saw the need for the church to be reformed, not just in their era, but in every era, and sought to bring the gospel out of eclipse. It's an exciting study, I believe, and I think you will benefit from it personally, devotionally, and ministerially as we study these people and how they sought to uphold the sacred writings of our great God is inspired by his Spirit. So come along for this great adventure. I look forward to serving you, and I think you will like this a whole lot more than you may think here at the beginning. I pray it is so.